Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, Kung Hei Fat Choi, it's the eve of the Chinese New Year, with the coming year of the water tiger signifying the start of Chinese or spring in the Chinese zodiac. Many are hoping for a rebirth as we cope with this pandemic. What are the lucky and unlucky animal signs, and what else should we expect and prepare for in 2022? Feng Shui expert Patrick Lim Fernandez joins us live. The past 2 years have been challenging for all of us due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and some are looking at the stars and the Chinese zodiac to help them attract luck. Now that a new year is coming, do we see light on the horizon? Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Feng Shui expert Patrick Lim Fernandez. Patrick, good to see you again. Welcome back to the source.
I know. Thanks, Pinky, for having me as always. So, Kung Hei Fat Choi, Kung Si Fat Sai, wishing everyone a very happy, prosperous, abundant, and healthy 2022, this year of the Thundering Water Tiger.
I like that. Healthy year of the Thundering Water Tiger. So, it's the year of the ox coming to an end, and we are welcoming the year of the Thundering Water Tiger. How different in general is this year compared to last year, or will this year be compared to last year?
Sure. So the past 3 years, as you mentioned, the ox was last year and the pig and the rat, the 2 previous years. Those are really in the Chinese zodiac, the winter signs. And the tiger, the rabbit, and the dragon, which are the 3 following, are all spring signs. And what does this mean? If we can imagine the past 3 years in the world, we actually went through some sort of winter in terms of the economy, our health, and the world just sort of hibernated. And the good thing is, with the spring energy, hope is on the horizon. We'll see the metaphorical snow starting to melt, the flowers starting to bloom. So this will definitely usher in new energy, a re-emergence of the world. This will be more gradual. It won't be immediate, just like snow won't melt immediately. But as you mentioned, hope is on the horizon for all of us.
Slowly but surely, I guess. But what is a thundering water tiger?
Sure. So in terms of the signs, there's the yang and yin polarity. This year is a yang polarity, so it's a yang water. And this means that this is energy that's stronger, that's more aggressive, it's more active. So we'll see a lot more movement, a lot more activity in the world. So that's the yang side. The yang water as an element, this is actually the most intelligent of the elements of all of the different 10 stems. And what this means is, this is a year not necessarily to work harder, but to work smarter. And people who do that will find themselves succeeding more this year. The pitfall here is, don't be narrow-minded and try to listen to other people's point of view and all of the information. So you might be a know-it-all, you might think you know everything, but try to be open-minded. So again, work smarter, not necessarily harder. And that's a hallmark of the yang water energy. Now let's go to the tiger. If we think of the tiger, this is a very bold animal, very adventurous. And in terms of energy, there's a saying, fortune favors the bold. This is a good year to really follow that. So how can we apply this to ourselves? The key is taking calculated risks. So for example, you have a decision to make and you have 2 options. One is more conservative, the other one's more bold. This year, it would be better if you take the more bold option. So try to think of all the risks, all the things that can go wrong. And then once you're comfortable with everything, all the considerations, try to be a little bit, push the envelope a little bit more, and you'll find yourself better off. The only thing is, sometimes a tiger, when it sees its prey, will pounce right away without thinking. So the pitfall is, don't act without thinking. Don't be impulsive. Always think before you act. So if you follow some of these pieces of advice which follow the energies of the year, you'll have a much more better and prosperous year ahead.
Wow, that's a lot, huh? So work smarter, not necessarily harder. Look at your options, calculate them, and somehow If you have to be a little bit more risky, I guess, and go for the bolder decision than the more conservative one.
Correct. Yeah, so that you're able to take the adventurous energy of the tiger. So yeah, as you mentioned, the key thing is look at all of the different considerations, all of the different factors. What are all the risks? And if you're comfortable with everything with those two decision points, be a
Mhm.
little bit older. Correct.
Mm-mm. Parang ano, yeah, be a little bit more risky, but know what can happen if you make that or you choose that particular decision. Okay, so it sounds good because water, you said, is the best or the best element, you said, and then the tiger being necessarily strong and aggressive. So in terms of, let's talk about, well, you were saying in the past 3 years, we were surrounded by winter, and the next three, I believe, will be spring. In terms of the pandemic, how will this new year be different?
So when we look at the different stars and energies of the year, unfortunately, there's still a couple of health and safety stars that are present. And what this means is it will have an adverse effect on the general health energy of the world. But I think the key thing here is we know the energies are there. How do we
Mhm.
then respond? And the good thing is we know a lot more today than we did like a year ago or 2 years ago. So we know that the stars are there. And I think a lot of the health experts are in agreement. This is not really a pandemic. It might be more what they're calling an endemic. And this will really be a
Mm.
new normal of protocols and how do we learn to live with this, like the seasonal flu and so on. But all of those things in the background, if once we know that, and it also lines up with the Feng Shui energies, really the key is how do we respond, keeping ourselves safe, keeping our family safe, taking all the necessary protocols, using all of the science and everything we already know, and therefore we can take this energy and be able to overcome it. So that's going to be
And
key.
yeah, what about industries or businesses? Which are the lucky ones on the this coming year, the Thundering Water Tiger?
So the two more favorable elements are water and metal. And for water, the following businesses fall under the water element. So the first is cleaning or hygiene. And right now with the pandemic, we can see a very easy and real use case for this. The other one is trading and logistics. If we think of last year, there was a big supply chain problem in the world, and there's a lot of opportunities to make this better. So again, with a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs, whenever there's a need, there's also that business opportunity. So trading and logistics is seen to be good this year. That's underwater. Supermarkets are another industry that belongs to water as well. Hospitality. So we're seeing a resurgence or reemergence of travel restrictions as we're learning how to live with this pandemic. So I think the key thing really is for the folks in the hospitality industry to take everything they've learned this past 2 years and make it make it a new normal for them. Beverages are also part of the water industry. Analytics and machine learning, going more on the tech side, this also falls under water. So for those companies that are into these fields, they would tend to do better. And then now let's shift to metal. So metal businesses have to do with number one, what we're calling the heavy metal industries like machinery, mining. These are all metal industries. The automobile industry also falls under metal.
Mhm.
Banking and finance, the medical industry also falls under metal. Skincare, beauty products, as well as hardware. So more on, let's say for computers, it's more on the hardware side versus the software side. So those are all the businesses that are seen to do better this year than other years.
What about lucky color?
So the colors that are tied to water are blue and black. So those are the ones that have some favor this year. And the ones that have to do with metal are white, silver, gold, or different types of metallic colors. So all of these colors have favorable energy for them. And then for specific people, usually when we do consultations with them, everyone has their own lucky color. So usually we tell them, look at the favorable colors of the year, and then also look at your own personal lucky colors, try to blend them together, and then you'll have like a nice palette to choose from. So those are some things to keep in mind for colors.
And just also, we know that 2022 is an election year for the Philippines come May 9. How does the Thundering Water Tiger apply? Or how does that affect the upcoming elections?
Sure. So as we talked about earlier, there's a yang energy in terms of the polarity, and this is more aggressive. It's more active. There's a lot more movement. So what the hallmark here is, we're going to see a lot more shows of power and might. And the interesting thing is, we're moving to a new Feng Shui trend this by 2024, and we're already coming to this new era, so to speak. And this really has to do more with technology, with fire. So I think a lot of the shows of power and might are now going to be in the arena of cyberspace using technology. So this is where we might see that people trying to come to the limelight and trying to wield their power, so to speak. And I think the key thing here is because Feng Shui is all about balance. How do you temper your aggression, knowing that there's going to be this aggressive energy? How do you make sure you're more balanced in your approach rather than just acting without thought or without regard, as we talked about earlier? The other thing is also dialogue. I think the ones who are able to use dialogue to subdue some of this aggressive energy will tend to do better because they're more balanced. And then I think for those folks who do well, as mentioned earlier, those who work smarter will also have an advantage versus the people who, if they're running against people who don't necessarily do that or just work harder. And then those who take calculated risks, those who are a little bit bolder, those will be the candidates who will be more successful. And there's also going to be certain signs. So if people who are seeking office have these certain signs, and we'll go over all 12 later on, there's 3 that actually have leadership and authority stars. And if you want to find out what they are, just stay tuned for later because we're going to go through those. And I think the other good thing is there's, for the Philippines in particular, there's a very favorable energy that has to do with work and being productive. And it only happens, once every 9 years. So let's take advantage of this. And what this means is, one, for the private sector, try to take advantage of this, efficiency and productivity surge that's happening this year, so you won't get left behind. And then if you are running for office, the key thing would also be having platforms for employment, for jobs, because this is going to be a productive year for the country. Try to ride that wave, ride that energy, and make that one of key things of your platform. So those are some pieces of advice we can give for people who are seeking office, and even for people in the private sector in positions of leadership. This will also bode well for them if they follow these pieces of advice.
When we return, as Patrick said, we'll be taking a closer look at the forecast for every animal sign in the Chinese zodiac this 2022. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today, Feng Shui expert Patrick Lim Fernandez. Ito na yung hinihintay nila, Patrick, who will be lucky this coming year. We're going to look at the signs. Let me start with the rat.
Sure. So for the rat this year, the key word is actually health. So there's a couple of stars that you have to keep in mind. One is your own personal health. As we mentioned, there's still these energies affecting the world on for illnesses. So in particular, it's going to be a little bit harder for the rat this year. So just make sure you're healthy, take all your precautions. Also watch out for the health of your loved ones. Try to make sure that you're able to keep them in mind this year so that they're also keeping safe and healthy as well. The rat also has impatience and aggression, and the key thing here is just watching your temper. Don't let your emotions get the better of you. Just be patient as you go through different things through the year, and you'll have a lot more better luck. So those are some of the key things for the rat to keep in mind this year.
Let's go to the ox.
For the ox, the key word is relationships. try to grow your personal relationships and your professional ones as well. On the personal side, try to spend time with family, with friends, your loved ones. Really double down on getting to nurture a lot of these relationships. On the professional side, this could be with colleagues, with with clients, with key customers, your boss, all of these professional relationships. Keep that in mind as well and grow it. That's where your luck will come from. On the flip side, the
Tiger.
ox is a
Oh,
quarrel
okay.
star. Yeah, sorry, the ox is a quarrel star. So as you're growing these relationships, don't try to quarrel people and try to avoid conflicts, and then you'll do well. Yeah.
Avoid conflicts for ox. Let's go to the tiger. Even if we always say this, Patrick, if it's the year of the tiger and you were born on the year of the tiger, it doesn't necessarily mean it's your year, right? It's your lucky year.
Correct. So it's almost like it happens once every 12 years. So it's almost like an up and down kind of thing. The good thing is you're in the spotlight, so you'll have a chance to showcase your talents, and you'll be kind of the star of the year. So use this platform if you're a leader or if you want to further a certain message or a certain cause or a project. This is your year to do that. Showcase your talents and your strengths. It's also a good year to learn new things. You have an academic star, so try to pick up new skills, new things that you want to get better on. On the flip side, because it is your year, you can expect some sort of change. So these changes may be, large in nature. And the key thing is, rather than being reactive to the change, try to be proactive. Try to think of what outcome you want to achieve, and then take the steps to do that, so that you become an agent of your change rather than being a victim of your change. So those are some key things for the tiger. Again, congratulations, it's your year. Keep these things in mind so that you'll have a great year ahead.
Okay, rabbit.
The rabbits this year have a very strong yang energy. And what this means is a lot of the luck and your energy will be coming from the men in your life. So try to think of the males in your family, in your office, among your friends. These are the folks who will be giving you your luck and energy. So try to nurture some of these relationships this year more than other years. It's also a good year to grow your network. And as you do that, similar to the ox, you'll get to nurture these relationships, both professionally and personally as well. The rabbit, though, has a star called the illegal romance star. And what this means is you'll be seen as attractive. It's what we call a peach blossom star, which makes people more attractive to others. Unfortunately, for the rabbit, they may be a little bit too attractive. So they might find themselves in situations that are a little bit precarious. So just don't go into these complicated situations, and you should do well.
Remember that, rabbit. Let's go to the dragon.
For the dragon this year, the key is self-reliance. So this year, more than others, you may have the need to have more of that inner strength, to dig a little deeper. So the key thing is try to, when you have some adversity, dig deep down, find the strength, and then get the support you need so that you'll get through the year okay. A couple things to watch out. One is your stress levels. For the dragon, you might find your cortisol levels or your stress a little higher this year. So just try to center yourself so that you don't feel too overwhelmed. And then the other thing is the dragon should also plan better this year, because they might have some obstacles and hurdles. So try to plan for contingency so that if your plan A doesn't work, you have a plan B, a plan C that you can fall back to. So that's for the dragon.
And the snake.
So the snake, earlier we talked about the rabbit having a lot of yang energy. For the snake, there's a lot of yin energy. And what this means is a lot of your luck and energy will be coming from the women in your life. So if you think of the female members of your family, your loved ones, etc., try to nurture those relationships. Those are the folks who are going to give you your luck and energy. So for a lot of the people who are listening, call your mother more often. I think that will help you. And it's also a good year to grow your investments. So the snake has some good wealth stars. So if you are in the investment field or in property or looking to grow your money, this should be a good year for the snake. On the flip side, you may attract people who are not good for you. So just keep in mind that as you surround yourself in your inner circle with people, just go with your gut, go with the people you trust, and not surround yourself with people who don't have the same interests. And you should do well for the year.
We still have the horse, the goat, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, and the pig, but we need to take a very short break. The source will be right back. All All right, Patrick, let's now go to the horse.
So the horse. So as mentioned earlier, there are three signs with leadership and authority stars, and the horse is the first of the three. So they have this leadership star. So if you are in the private sector, public sector, take advantage of this. People will be following your lead. Will look to you for guidance. So this should be a good year for authority. And generally, in terms of career, business, academics, this is also good for the horse. So try to gallop forward, run as fast as you can, and work as hard as you can. And this year should be good from that respect. However, there is a legal star. So if you are you have contracts to do, or you have certain things that have to do with legalities, pay more attention to details so that you won't be caught in any pitfalls. So that's for the horse.
Let's go to the goat.
So the goat is the second sign that has some good influence stars. So this is a good year for the goat to exert their influence and to grow it. And this could be for folks, again, in the private sector, public sector. And there's a growing group of people in the world now called influencers. If you are an influencer and you have a goat in your sign, this should be a good year for you. Use your platform to get your message across, and try to promote yourself and your thoughts, your ideals, and this should be good. The drawback for the goat, though, is they have what we call a small drain star. And this means that you may be spending a lot more than you thought you would. So just keep in mind to pay attention to your finances. Try to control your impulse buying or online shopping. Just try to make sure you're not in the red or in the negative financially when the year ends, and just take care of your finances. So that's for the goat.
Monkey.
So for the monkey, every animal has what we call a clash or conflict, or a chong in Chinese. And for the monkey, it's the tiger. Unfortunately, they're the two signs that are clashing. So the monkeys will have a little bit of an up and down year. So the highs will be really good. The lowest may not be as good. So for the monkey, just try to be more patient this year. Know that there's going to be a lot of this energy that will test you. But one thing to look forward to for the monkey is there's a travel star. And what the travel star signifies is you'll get the opportunity to expand your horizons. You'll be it professionally or personally. So this doesn't necessarily mean physically traveling. This could be you're virtually traveling, especially in this environment. So try to expand your horizons if you're a monkey. You might feel sometimes that you're going to feel stuck when you're trying to do things and things aren't moving as fast as you wanted to. So keep in mind just to be a little bit more patient, and it's all psychological. Try to plow through the year, even though it's not your year, and still make it yours.
Rooster.
So the rooster is the third of the signs that have a good leadership star. And the reason it's good for the rooster is they have a lot of benefactors and supporters. And what this means is whatever they're trying to do, people will be helpful to them. People will try to support them. People will want them to succeed. And that's the reason why for the roosters, especially in positions of leadership or seeking positions of leadership, they will have good energy this year. And in general, it's also good for their professional life, be it if you're in the private sector, an employee, you have your own business, or even if you're a student, they should be good if you're a rooster. One thing they should watch out for, though, is sudden changes. So it could be that they are going down a certain path and then they might have to pivot quickly. So just be agile in your mindset that if you have these certain things you have to move around, do it quickly and do it fast, and don't get stuck. And you should hopefully get to the destination you need to.
My favorite, the dog.
I know, a special place in your heart. So for the dog, it's especially good for people in the creative field. There's a creativity star. So if you're in marketing, sales, advertising, media, creating content, producing content, this is good for the dog. And even if you're not in those fields, try to take advantage of this creativity star by innovating, solving problems in a different way, and you'll find yourself getting success. Dog also has an academic year. So try to challenge yourself this year to learn something new. Think about a skill set or something that you always wanted to learn, and challenge yourself to learn that by the end of the year. Invest in yourself, and you'll only find that you'll be better off a lot more. And you'll be able to take advantage of absorbing more energy because of the strong academic star. The one thing for the dog, though, is be a little bit more conservative, especially with your finances. We talked about being bold this year, taking calculated risk. For the dogs, be a little bit more cautious, especially when it comes to finances. Be a little bit more conservative, so that you won't find yourself overextending. So those are some things for the dog to keep in mind.
Okay, and lastly, the pig.
So the pig, similar to the snake, has some good prosperity stars. And what this means is they'll be able to accumulate wealth. It will be able to grow, and you'll find yourself being a lot better off financially by the end of the year. It's also a good year for breakthrough. So if there's something that you've always wanted to do, try to seek out these opportunities. You're able to break through and have new achievements as the year progresses. The pig, unfortunately, has an envy star, so people might get a little jealous of you because of all your success. So just be humble, keep a low profile, and success should be yours this year.
I wanted to ask you, Patrick, among the presidential aspirants, which of them will be lucky this coming year?
Appreciate the question, Pinky. Unfortunately, because in our business, we also have people in the political arena, so we so we usually refrain just out of respect to them and their parties. So I hope you understand. But what I can say is, if there are people who are listening and they do find that they have these certain leadership stars in their chart, and the horse to go to Rooster have some good leadership stars. And we have in our website a way to find out your own personal signs. These are the people who should take advantage of their influence, their leadership, their benefactor stars, and so that they'll be able to really do good for the country in general.
But we have some of them born in the year of the rooster, the year of the snake, the year of the horse, the year of the tiger, and the year of the rat. Among those, which are the lucky ones? Rooster, snake, horse, tiger, or rat?
In terms of the signs, in terms of leadership, rooster, horse, and goat have good leadership signs. On the flip side, all of them, as mentioned earlier, have a lot of positive signs, positive energies. So if they are able to harness that, for example, the snake on the yin energy, everything we talked about earlier, again, there's many different paths to victory. So if they are able to use the energies, that's good for them. And this is true for everyone, I think.
For everyone, yes.
Yeah, if you are able to understand all the good energies that you have and harness them and make them your own, then you can succeed. Yeah.
All right. Feng Shui expert Patrick Lim Fernandez, so good to have you again.
Thank you, Pinky, and have a great year ahead. Kung hei fat sai, kung hei fat choi.
Kung hei fat choi, Patrick. Thanks a lot, and thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.